What's up, Burn Nation? Welcome to the Burn Bootcamp podcast. I'm Jordan Cash. I work on the marketing team at Burn Bootcamp headquarters and oversee our philanthropic partnerships. So I am here today and so excited to chat with Coker Powell, Chief Development Officer at the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. She's also one of our own Burn Bootcamp members, so we're going to chat a little bit more about that. But to get started, LLS is one of our national partners, and we began building this relationship a couple years ago as we saw how cancer impacted our members and team firsthand, and our communities came together to really rally around them. We were inspired to support LLS from there, and the rest is history. We kicked off our first national Be Their Hero campaign in November of 2022, and Bird Nation, you raised over $200,000. I want to just take a moment here to pause and once again share our gratitude for everyone coming together to raise awareness and funds through our superhero-themed camp. We could not accomplish this without your support, so thank you so much. All right, so let's dive in. Today, Coker is going to share more about the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, along with a special initiative that they are elevating in the month of June called the Dare to Dream Project. Coker, I'm going to turn it over to you, but how about you start by sharing a little bit more about yourself, your role, and the work that you do?
Sure. Thanks, Jordan. And it's so fun to be here. And I want to begin by saying thank you so much to Burn Nation and to all of the members for supporting LLS, the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and the Burn and the Be Their Hero initiative, and in continuing that work as we move forward as a national partner. It was so fun to actually get to experience it as a member, in addition to being an employee at LLS. So I am the Chief Development Officer at LLS, and really what that means is that I oversee the vast majority of our revenue initiatives, so how we raise the money to fund the mission. And that totals about $400 million annually that the teams that I lead and have the privilege to work together with raise, and we do it through a variety of different ways. So we have walks, we have different types of events, we have partnerships with programs just like Burn, like we're talking about today. All of those things come together to really help us fund the mission.
Amazing. So let's talk a little bit about your involvement and journey with Burn Bootcamp as a member. So how did you get started? What made you want to join? Let's start there.
Sure. That's a fun topic for me to talk about. After I had my two children, I decided that it was certainly time for me to, number one, try to get in shape, but number two, to really have time to do something for myself. I have, with two young children, a busy job. And so I started, as many people do, with the 7-day trial back in August of 2021. And I can genuinely tell you, Jordan, that it has been life-changing for me in many ways. It is, I've never been someone who loves to work out. I would begrudgingly go work out because I knew it was the right thing to do for me and for my health. And I now am at a place where if I have to miss a camp, whether it be for a whole host of reasons, I feel like my day is off track. And I think that is the testament to Burn as a company, but also I have to give a big shout out to Alyssa, who is our owner, and I go to the Spartanburg location. And she is just amazing. And all of our trainers are amazing. The trainer I work out with the most is Stephanie, but they're all just incredible and just a great environment. I love how everyone has the ability to better themselves through Burn. It's such a positive environment. I think it's especially so positive for women. And I take my young son with me most of the time. To watch mommy do something great for herself. And he'll talk about, mommy, we have to go to the gym today, which is so good because I think it's creating those habits, even in him very young. And so it's been a wonderful, wonderful experience. And there's no gym that I know that is like Burn. So I loved it. So kudos to all of Burn Nation for that.
Well, thank you so much. We just love, hearing your story and just how, yes, like we're here for moms. Like that's so incredible to hear that we were able to capture you at that stage in your life and be that support. And it's incredible to hear how if you miss camp, like your day is off, and that just means like you've weaved it into your life. Like it is a true lifestyle change. And yeah, I am a mom of two young boys, and so I am just so grateful to have Burn and have, Child Watch,
Yes.
to hopefully, hopefully my son will be, "Hey mom, let's go to the gym," when he gets a little bit older. So I love hearing that. So one question that's kind of fun, or you can either do it one or two ways. What's your favorite protocol or what's your least favorite protocol?
My favorite protocol, it's a toss up between leg day and arm day. Those are my
Okay.
favorite two. That workout this morning was a killer. I'm just gonna say, whoever came up with that that exercise, that regime, that was tough. I was like, oh man, this is a tough one. So
Yeah.
I love leg day and arm day. And the thing that I'll say, Jordan, is anytime even on the days like today where it's a really tough protocol, you leave there feeling accomplished, and so it's always worth it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll have to shout out Matt Morris and his team for coming up with the protocols. And I don't know if you've ever had a chance to join us virtually on our lives during the week, Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. But he leads those. So if you ever are like traveling and need to hop on remotely to get your workout in, there is that as well. So well, great. Well, I appreciate you kind of diving into being a Burn member. We love having you as a part of our community, and then also love working with you through LLS. So let's dive into the Dare to Dream project. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about what this is, who it supports, why it's important?
Absolutely. Thank you, Jordan. And I am so excited about the Dare to Dream project because it is truly going to revolutionize the way that children with cancer are treated. And so, as you said, having two young children, I also have two young children, and this is a project that aims to improve the outcomes, both short term and also long term outcomes for kids with cancer. Unfortunately, if a child is diagnosed with cancer, the vast majority of the time, it's a blood cancer. So most kids with cancer end up with a blood cancer. So that's leukemia. It could be lymphoma. There are lots of long, complicated, hard names to spell, but at the end of the day, it's cancer of the blood and bone marrow. And we have done a really excellent job over the last 40 years in improving the health outcomes. So we actually, as an organization, we were founded by a family who lost their young son to blood cancer nearly 75 years ago. And their whole mission at that time was that they didn't want other children to die from blood cancer. And the great news is we have done a lot to accomplish and to fulfill their dreams. So now the primary type of blood cancer, the most prevalent is something called ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And we have improved the survival rate from 8% survival. So that means if your child was diagnosed 75 years ago or even 40 years ago with this type of leukemia, 8% survival rate. Today, that same survival rate is over 94%.
Wow.
That's huge.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's huge. And so that's the good news. That's what we often talk about and we celebrate, and it's great. The not so good news about that story is that in order to get children to survive, the therapies that we have to put them through are incredibly, incredibly toxic. And I can share with you an example about a child who I just recently, a recent story about a kid named Matt Hauser who lives in Philadelphia, and he had a childhood blood cancer, was able to survive his childhood blood cancer, which was great. But the therapies that we had to give him were incredibly toxic, chemotherapies and, different types of things that forever change your health and your body. So things that come at, many of our children will go on to have heart issues. So Matt, while he survived his initial leukemia diagnosis, which was wonderful, just a few short months ago, Matt had to get a heart transplant at 15 because the chemo had damaged his heart so badly that his heart could no longer function. And so now you have a child and a family who survived this incredible battle of defeating cancer, and now has all other kinds of issues that they're facing. So it becomes a lifelong parade of health issues. And so Matt's story is one example. I will say he's gotten his heart transplant and he's doing really great. So we're happy for Matt. But there are countless number of children who face secondary issues, whether it be a second type of cancer that pops up as a result of the therapy, heart problems. The vast majority of these children are left infertile, so they cannot go on to have families of their own. Their education is often impacted. They may go on to develop learning disabilities. So while it's a good hero story in the moment, they are left with a lot of issues. And so the Dare to Dream project really it's a multifaceted project that we are so excited about. One is to reduce the toxicity of treatments for our kids, so that if a child is diagnosed with a blood cancer, that the treatment that we are providing for them is the least toxic and that it is made for a kid. Most of those therapies, and the reason why they're so toxic is because all the research was done on adults. So we're taking adult therapies and trying to squish them into little kids' bodies. And not only is it very different in adult versus a child, but kids are not small adults. And so that's one of the reasons that we are trying to put together a master trial. This is the first ever of its kind, a global master trial to try to figure out new therapies for kids. Really, it's like for kids by kids, because kids are in the trial, to determine what are the types of new therapies that we could use to have a less toxic and a better long-term outcome. So that's one big piece of it. It's research, it's a clinical trial, but it's also support for families as they come out of their blood cancer therapies, and making sure that we're supporting everything they do, with patient services and helping them with their education. We have a scholarship program. It's just a really comprehensive project. There's never been anything like it in its kind. And our goal is that we come out of this project. So it's a 5-year project is the goal. And what our commitment is that we will come out of this project with new kid-focused therapies for kids. So it's game-changing in the space of pediatric cancer.
Wow. Thank you so much for just diving into all of those details. But yeah, that is incredible. And we are so glad that we can help elevate this message with you, because it is so important to be able to raise funds and just awareness around, like you said, the treatments were made for adults. We need stuff for kids. We need to be able to help set them up. Yes, it's amazing to be cancer-free, but we need to set them up to have a long, healthy life. And so that is awesome. And so I know you said goal is over 5 years. What is the amount of funds that you guys are looking to raise to help with this project?
Yes, thanks, Jordan. It is you said it beautifully. Our goal is we want kids not to just survive, but we want them to thrive and to go on and to have a healthy life where they live their best life and best self, which is so, I think, aligned with the vision of what Burn also does. It's about people showing up and thriving and having their best life. Our goal, we know that this project is going to cost at a minimum $175 million. So it's a $175 million project just specific to Dare to Dream. And to date, we have raised $71 million of the $175 million. And so that's about another $104 million that we have to go. And partners like you, partners like Burn, help us get there. And, our goal is, we know we want to raise 175 million, but the faster we can raise that revenue, the faster we can start providing great new therapies for our kids. So,
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, beyond donating, obviously someone can donate if they want to help to get involved. What are some other ways that someone could be involved to help this effort?
that's great. I think, being an advocate, talking, about the project and talking about LLS, one of the things that we often say is we are the best slash worst kept secret, meaning that we as an organization are doing such incredible work. We are advancing therapies and having an impact and new cancer treatments at an unprecedented rate when you compare us to any other organization. But not enough people know about us. We always say, like, our name is long, it's hard to say, it's leukemia, who knows how to spell it, lymphoma. People are they like, is that cancer? Is it not cancer? And so oftentimes we just need people to know about who we are. And the thing that I would share with all of your listeners too, Jordan, is if anybody, I know we're talking about pediatrics right now, but anybody in your life who is diagnosed with a blood cancer, please, please, please send them to LLS. And let me tell you why that is. We have absolutely unmatched resources for both patients and caregivers if you have a blood cancer diagnosis. Our goal is that we want everybody who has a blood cancer diagnosis to get to us within days of their treatment, or within days of their diagnosis, because we have free resources from helping you pay for your therapies, helping you pay for your drugs. We have a group called the Information Resource Center. We refer to it as the IRC. It's a 1-800 number where we have clinical master's level oncology nurses who can talk you through what your diagnosis means and even match you with clinical trials, which is remarkable. In fact, when I first started at LLS, I'd been there probably just a few months, and a family friend was diagnosed with a blood cancer, had been battling a blood cancer, I should say. And their doctor said, you know what, we've reached the end of the road. Like, we're not sure that there's anything else that we can do. And essentially we're going to send him home with hospice. And I said, Mom, I don't know. I know just enough to be dangerous, but just have them call this 1-800 number. Called the 1-800 number. They talked to one of our nurses online. The nurse was able to find a clinical trial that matched to their specific type of blood cancer that was happening in another part of the country, that was happening in Florida, where it was able to help him get into that trial. And he lived an additional 7 years. And guess what happened in those 7 years? He was able to walk 2 daughters down the aisle, watch both of his children get married. And so and those are 7 years that he would not have had they not called the IRC, our Information Resource Center. And so I'll make sure that, your listeners have that 1-800 number. We can even say it at the end or something so that I can make sure everyone has that number. If anybody in your world has a diagnosis, we want to be there to help. And there's so many ways that we can help. So one is tell people who we are. Number two, whenever you go to a retailer and you see the Leukemia Lymphoma Society or you see Dare to Dream at the register, support us in that way. And then there are also local events that take place in markets across the country. We have our Light the Night walks, which are beautiful events that happen in the fall. We have our team and training events, which are athletic-based endurance events. So if you want to challenge yourself and sign up for a marathon or a cycling event, sign up and do it through us. And then we have our Of the Year programs, which is a competitive fundraising program that we do in the spring. We have a student version and an adult version. So lots of different ways to get involved. And then also you can be an advocate and volunteer.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I really appreciate you sharing those stories. I mean, I was getting chills kind of as you were talking just about the longevity of his life that was added because of that trial. And yes, if there's anyone listening today who knows someone or is someone affected by blood cancer, please reach out. We can definitely drop, the number in the details of this podcast, and also, they can visit you at LLS.org, right? So,
right. And I have to know.
Yeah.
So
Okay, yeah, if you want to go ahead and just Yeah,
If you're
share. That's
listening,
great.
you bet. So it's 1-800-955-4572. So again, that's 1-800-955-4572. And this is, again, an incredible free resource for anyone in your life, child, adult, anyone who has been diagnosed with a blood cancer. It's a wonderful, wonderful tool. It separates us in the industry. There's no other organization that has the type of resources that we have through our Information Resource Center.
Thank you, Coker. I really appreciate you giving out that number and just telling us more ways that we can connect with the cause. I really appreciate your time today sharing about LLS, the Dare to Dream Project, and gosh, just the work that you all are doing every single day to support kids, patients, families. It is so, so important, as you shared, multiple reasons why we can get behind you guys and advocate for you. So I think that's something that Burn is just so excited to be able to do and grateful to be a part of, bringing awareness specifically, again, to the Dare to Dream Project this month alongside of you. We are, thrilled to be on this journey. We cannot wait to see you crush the goal of raising $175 million. Like you said, hopefully it's faster than in the next 5 years, and we're here to support. We cannot wait to see the impact that this will bring to these kids' lives. And just, again, like I said, so appreciate your time. So again, Burn Nation, if you'd like to get involved, you can donate, you can be an advocate, you can call the resource hotline to learn more, or go to lls.org. Thank you so much for listening into the Burn Bootcamp podcast today. Please make sure to follow us anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. And don't forget to leave us a review. Coker, I'm going to take us out like we always do. 2 claps on 2. 1, 2.